Good morning, Lake Erie Council, Scouts and Scouters throughout the world joining us this morning. I am Alex Coker, otherwise known as Cub Scout Coker, the Program Director at Fireland Scout Reservation. Here, for the first time ever, our Pancake Power Hour, brought to you by our Keepers of the Flame program. I'm joined today with the Program Director of the Scouts BSA Summer Camp at Beaumont Scout Reservation, Grace Prorock.
Did you say Pancake Power Hour?
Yeah, I did.
Coker, that makes absolutely no sense. This is the Lake Erie Council Waffle Wednesday on a Saturday. I've got my waffles, I've got my bacon, I've got my Scouts own. This is the Waffle Wednesday.
I think it's called the Pancake Power Hour.
No, that doesn't have no ring to it. Waffle Wednesday, because everybody knows waffles are better than pancakes.
That is objectively false, because pancakes are better than waffles for the following reasons. They're denser and they faster. I've never seen anybody try to make a Mickey Mouse head with waffles. And pancakes are the key ingredient to Fireland Scout Reservation's staple food, the Paul Bunyan breakfast.
All right. You guys might have your pancakes out at Firelands and your Mickey Mouse faces, but I am not alone on this great waffle debate.
You mean this great pancake debate?
We are going to have some special guests joining us today to help us to answer this age-old, century-shaking question. And we're going to be looking at some of our Scouts-owned products, which I think, we might not agree on this pancake versus waffle thing. We can agree that the Scouts-owned products do go good on any breakfast food.
Absolutely, I agree. So for the duration of our program today, I have a scoreboard behind me. Blue is going to be pancakes and red is going to be waffles. So we're going to keep score, ask all of our guests today if they prefer pancakes or waffles, which most of them should prefer pancakes. And we'll let you know which one is superior at the end of our program. But to continue, today is an important day for scouting. While COVID-19 might have us sheltered in our homes, the Lake Erie Council has continued to provide scouting for all of you at home. Today, we hope that you'll laugh. We hope that you'll learn a little bit more about our Scouts-owned products and how Scouts can raise funds for their future scouting adventures. But most importantly, we hope you'll learn who the Keepers of the Flame are and why this program is so important to bringing scouting to Northeast Ohio, both now and for the future to come.
We don't know if our first guest is a lover of pancakes or waffles, but we do know that he does a meme cover of Let It Be on Twitter. We are honored to have Senator Sherrod Brown join us this morning. Sherrod Brown is a distinguished Eagle Scout from Mansfield, Ohio, and one of the 2 U.S. senators representing the state of Ohio. He was the namesake of the Greater Cleveland Council's 2016 class of Eagle Scouts, and we're very excited and honored to have him with us this morning. We appreciate the senator taking the time out of his schedule to speak to us. Please welcome Senator Sherrod Brown.
Grace, thanks. Welcome to Oatmeal Saturday. Not that I'm sure. I like pancake. I like Alex. I like Grace more than I like Alex, but I like pancakes more than I like waffles. So you got to vote there. But I have oatmeal every day. And you get the slow cooking steel cut oats. You cook it about 20 minutes. You put raisins in about halfway through, so it cooks the sweetness, and then you don't need anything on it. Unless you want to strawberries. It's pretty simple. Anyway, thank you for having me. I'm thrilled to do this today.
Yes,
some of my best memories are my days at the Johnny Appleseed Consul Scout. That was my region, Johnny Appleseed area consul. I was in Troop 110 out of the First Congregational Church in Mansfield, and scouting. I'm the third of 3 Eagle Scouts in my family, and my mother and father made sure that because my older brothers were Eagles, that I stuck with it. And tempting at times not to, and I'm glad I did. I want to tell one story. I won't talk long, but I'm so appreciative of Alex and Grace doing this, and I just think it's great that they're continuing, even though there were challenges that Scouts are always prepared, is the right word, to be ready for all challenges. But one story I wanted to tell. When I was in Scouts, my patrol was about 7 or 8 of us in my patrol in Troop 110. Went to get our first aid merit badge from a local dentist who was a merit badge consul for first aid. And I remember I didn't prepare very much because I thought, well, everybody else will be ready to answer the questions. And unfortunately, the other 6 or 7 or 8 people in my patrol were the same. And he flunked all of us. He flunked the entire patrol. So we didn't get our first aid merit badge. The second time, I went back thinking I could kind of fake my way through it, and he failed me again on first aid merit badge. But I'm grateful for that. One, I learned that failure is not permanent. I also learned that failure, that it made me understand first aid a whole lot better because I really knew it the third time. I think he kind of enjoyed it, but I have many of those skills still, perhaps 40 plus years later. So as I said, I have so many good memories of scouting. One of the things that when I got my Eagle Scout Award, there were about 30 people in Mansfield that got awards through different. There were probably 15 different troops, maybe 10. I don't remember how many different troops in Greater Mansfield, the Johnny Appleseed Council. But I remember at my Eagle Scout, we had an Eagle Scout dinner at the old Leland Hotel in Mansfield. It's since been torn down. And our speaker at the Eagle Scout Award dinner was astronaut Colonel, not yet Senator, but astronaut Colonel John Glenn. And he had what I remember always about John Glenn in those days. He would have been in as young as he would have been in his 40s then, not yet a United States Senator. What I remember about him is he had time for everybody. We did pictures with him. He talked to us. He had as much time as anybody wanted with him. And that's something I always remember. And to complete the story, when I was sworn into the United States Senate in January 2007, typically, I apologize for the dogs barking in the background. Typically, when you get sworn in, you have a sitting senator, a former senator, escort you down the aisle. So John Glenn, who had spoken at my Eagle Scout dinner in the late 1960s, walked me down the aisle when I was sworn into my Senate seat in 2007. And he in the last 10 years of his life, he died in his mid-90s. In the last, died 3 years ago, almost 4 years ago now. He and Annie were close friends of my wife's and mine in the last 15 years or so of his life. So I just wanted, he was one of the great Eagle Scouts in our country, an astronaut and public official in so many ways. And well, the other thing about John Glenn, and I'll close with this, is he was what we'd call a Roosevelt Democrat. One of those dogs you hear barking, we named Franklin after Franklin Roosevelt. The other one is named Walter after the UAW labor leader, Walter Reuther, maybe the greatest labor activist leader of the 20th century that helped to create a middle class with United Auto Workers. But John Glenn was always a Roosevelt Democrat. What that meant is that he believed that government can be a very positive force in people's lives. And we're seeing that right now with the coronavirus pandemic. We're seeing the response that Congress passes unemployment compensation so people that are laid off can make close to what their wages and salaries were prior to being laid off. We put money into food banks. We've had a major program to help small businesses stay in business. I talked to a bunch of restaurant owners the other day, and all of their restaurants are closed. It was their dream to build these restaurants, and one of the things government does is partner with them to keep that dream alive for them. We want to make sure people aren't evicted or lose their homes during this terrible pandemic crisis. We want to make sure, most importantly, people are safe. So that's what Roosevelt meant to John Glenn, and John Glenn meant to me is an activist government that can help people and be a safety net on healthcare and education and all the things, and to enjoy, for Boy Scouts, to enjoy our national parks and to enjoy the great outdoors. Again, the role of government in creating that park space for so many young men and women and people my age too. So Grace and Alex, thank you. I see that oatmeal is not on the scoreboard, but the pancake is, sorry, Grace, but Pancakes is leading 1-0. So thanks so much for having me. I really enjoyed doing this, and I look forward to it all week. So thanks so much.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
All right, and you too. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Senator Brown, for joining us this morning. So, Coker, I have a little bit of a curtail in that argument that we were having earlier. I believe you can, in fact, Mickey Mouse a waffle. And I have proof right here. We have the first ever Mickey Mouse waffle right here at the Lake Erie Council Waffle Wednesday.
Okay, well, I don't have an argument for that. That's good. I think that deserves a point for Waffles.
That give me a
Would you
point?
agree?
All right.
All right,
So,
a point for Waffles on the scoreboard, tied evenly.
Tied evenly with Senator Sherrod Brown's vote. If you guys at home have any pictures of your breakfast, your waffles, your pancakes, your oatmeal, whatever you have, be sure to take a picture of it this morning and post it on Facebook and share it with us at the hashtag ScoutsOwn. So that way we can see how you're celebrating Waffle Wednesday on this fine day.
Yes. And moving on, we are going to move on to our second guest. The next guest is Lake Erie Council Scout Executive Mark Ryan, and he is here to introduce a fun challenge that we've designed for our Keeper of the Flame program. Over to you, Mark.
Well, good morning, Alex. Good morning, Grace. And what an honor to be part of this program, and what an honor that Sherrod Brown took the time to be with us this morning. Great Senator Sherrod Brown, who, as you mentioned, namesake of an Eagle class, distinguished Eagle Scout, has just been a tremendous supporter of scouting and just fantastic. I've been on, by the way, on our Facebook page this morning. I don't know if you guys are paying attention to this, but great comments already. I see Paula Pajita, Scout Shop Paula, has joined us this morning. CJ Nussbaum, I think I saw Christy Howard, Bev from out at the Fireland Scout Shop, so many other folks. So we're looking forward to seeing the posts from you guys about not only the great debate of the waffles and pancakes. I would think it would be waffle weekend, Grace. That works well, even though you do have your waffle Wednesdays. But we'll solve this debate. And I also want to say a good morning to, let me just pull up my chair here. I'm here in front of my oven, my stove this morning, and we're getting ready to make our Scout's Own pancakes and waffles. We're going to do both this morning because I don't want to upset any one particular group, and be seen as more partial to the pancakes or waffles, or maybe Firelands versus Beaumont. So, but I do want to welcome a special group this morning, those folks who have already become a member of the Keepers of the Flame, as both Alex and Grace started to talk about before. The Keepers of the Flame, which is really the new Friends of Scouting program of the Lake Erie Council, is tremendously important in helping us to sustain operations and support the scouting mission here locally. And it's the way that folks can make monthly reoccurring contributions to help the mission move forward. And why that's so important, we see it in a time like today, when you're able to spread out a gift over 12 months of $10 a month or $20 a month, whatever it is. It becomes a lot easier not only to sustain the gift for your family, but during this time, as we've been somewhat shut down, we've still been able to count on that $10 a month or $20 a month payment from so many folks who really believe strongly in the mission. So if you've already become a member of the Keepers of the Flame, I want to specifically thank you, and I want to encourage other folks today to join. I'm proud to share as well, as part of that 100% of the Lake Erie Council staff are all members of the Keepers of Flame. Every single member of our staff has not only made a contribution, but makes a monthly contribution to help support Scouting's local and powerful mission. So we hope that you're going to do that as well. And I do have a fun challenge to announce in just a couple of minutes. But before I do that, I did want to take one other quick minute and just share with you how proud I am of our entire council. My prayers continue to be with all those that have been affected and all those families that are dealing with all of the ramifications and the things that are now part of the new landscape based on this COVID-19 and this terrible grip that we're in. But through this process, and I'm reminded of the quote, "Within every adversity is the seed to an equal or greater benefit." And while I would never minimize the effects and the seriousness of what's going on out there, I have to tell you that I'm so proud of the Lake Erie Council and how we've not only continued scouting, but how in a lot of ways we've really reached our goal of making scouting even more relevant than ever before, being in thousands and thousands of families' living rooms and partnering with parents in a different way as we seek to provide the values and the promises of scouting to not only our scouts, but of course scouts throughout the country. And just listen to quickly a couple quick highlights that I thought you'd find really interesting. Over the last 3 to 4 weeks, we've hosted upwards of 18 live merit badges. And in those merit badges, over 67 councils in 31 different states, including our council, have all taken part of earning those merit badges. In fact, we've had over 1,300 merit badges earned by approximately 500 to 600 scouts. Some of them have obviously taken advantage of this great opportunity and earned 2 merit badges or 3 merit badges. But we've also done events just like this. We've had 61 live Facebook events, which have had over 385,000 views. Reached, I should say, 385,000 people, creating 75,000 views. And we've done the Scouts own 5K, the Scout is Helpful 5K, which helped us to raise over $4,000 to be able to then turn around and not only support local businesses that were struggling, but also support frontline and emergency workers by going out to 8 different sites and bringing hot food to say thank you and that the Boy Scouts of America are supporting you. And of course, our Scouts own Scout is Reverend just 2 weeks ago. We shared prayer together. That was absolutely fantastic. And today we're here to not only celebrate Scouts own products, which we have a huge announcement about the future of Scouts own in a little while that I sent in my letter yesterday. You really want to stay tuned because what we're going to share today is going to change and really not only the next evolution, but the revolution of the Scouts own sale for your units to be able to fund your adventures and your Scouts to be able to fund your adventures. And last but not least, I hope that you're all preparing, at least mentally right now, next week for our Saturday camper roll. I know we're going to talk more about that later, but our family will be setting up our campsite in our backyard. We're already thinking about our gateway, where we're going to put our tents. Luckily, Phil Williams did a demonstration a couple weeks ago on how to bring our cast iron back to life, so we're getting our Dutch ovens ready and all that stuff. So my message really is that all things considered, things are going really well, with one big exception. For many of you who know me, I like to really keep my hair short, and this is really starting to drive me insane. I can no longer take this quarantine, what it's doing in my hair. So today, we're introducing a new challenge that will kick off today and hopefully will grow some legs, and we call it the Quarantine Cut Challenge. And I am going to be the first one in the bucket, and I'm going to challenge you, Lake Erie Council, that if we bring on a minimum of 24 new Keepers of the Flame between now and the end of the program, so 24 people signing up and making their financial monthly commitment to join the well over 100, now close to 200 Scouters who have already done that. If you today make your commitment to financially support Scouting's powerful mission, 24 of you at least, and I'm hoping we're going to get a lot more than that, then my Scouts here in my house will give me a quarantine cut at the end of this program live. We will cut my hair way down short and shave my beard way down short. And then during that process, I'm going to make a challenge to some other Scouters for you to be able to do that at home as well. And some of you might remember the great ALS Ice Bucket Challenge from a couple of years ago. This is our Scouting version. You put on your Scout shirt and you have your hair cut at home, your quarantine cut, and this is in addition to the Keepers of the Flame. That money that you would have spent at your local barbershop or hairstylist, whatever it is, we're hoping that maybe you'd make that contribution to the Lake Erie Council to help support the powerful mission of Scouting locally. So it's called the Quarantine Cut, and we're going to find out later on at the end of this program at about 5 minutes left or 10 minutes left whether or not we've hit our goal for 24 new Keepers of the Flame to have my hair quarantine cut done live on Facebook. And just for the record, by the way, Grace, I am a waffle guy. And the reason, of course, is because you could put way more Scouts own syrup legally on a waffle. It doesn't look as bad because it sinks into all those creases and crevices. So with that, I leave you with one last thing. Here's my pancake tip of the day that I learned a long time ago. If you are a pancake lover at home, a way to get yourself nice, big, thick, fluffy pancakes, make your batter, and then let it sit for at least 10 minutes before you put it on the griddle. And that's the way to get nice, big, fluffy Scouts own pancakes at home. And we hope that you are and your family are getting ready to make your Scouts own products this morning. So good morning to all of you. Thank you for your continued support of Scouting. Thank you for your support of Lake Erie Council. And thanks for everything that you're doing. Thank you, Grace and Alex, for hosting a great program today. Enough from me until later. And let's have a great rest of the program.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark, and thank you for your vote for Team Waffle. Really excited to see that quarantine haircut, so I hope a lot of people join Keepers of the Flame this morning and continue to show that Team Waffle is, in fact, superior.
Well, while Mark's opinion might be objectively wrong, it's time to go to somebody that I know from the deep down in my heart is on Team Pancakes. We're going to go live to our resident Scouts own product experts to gain that sweet, sweet knowledge. Kevin and Sappy, over to you.
Hey, Alex and Grace, thank you so much for having us today. I am joined by my new best friend in the world, Sappy the Maple Leaf, right behind me here. We are live from my kitchen, and we're going to be making some pancakes this morning. So, just a few quick things. Sappy, it's good to see you. So, after SAP Camp happened in March, Sappy came by my house for a quick visit, And lo and behold, about 2 months later, Sappy is still here at my house. Sappy and I have been sheltering in place here. We've eaten a whole lot of pancakes. We have pancakes for breakfast. We've got pancakes for lunch, and sometimes pancakes for dinner. And even sometimes at 3 in the morning, I wake up and Sappy's here in the kitchen making even more pancakes. So Sappy hails from Beaumont Scout Reservation, where we have thousands of Sappy's family and friends tapped, which provides all of the syrup. So we render down that sap into our Scouts' own products. So today, Sappy and I are going to be making pancakes. We've got our batter ready to go. And my goal during this event is to make as many pancakes as I can and create a nice big stack of pancakes. So I assume, Sappy, you're a pancake fan, not a waffle fan, right? Sappy is 1 point for Team Pancakes. Alex, now I'm going to be honest with you, Sappy. We eat a lot of pancakes while you've been here, but my wife and I are both big waffle fans.
Is that
we
two
still have it
votes?
out there? Awesome. Perfect. All right, Sappy, we're going to throw up our very first pancake. We're going to get a quick little shot of some oil on our griddle. We are good to go. And Grace and Alex, hopefully we can check back during the show and see how the pancake making is going. We're going to get the very first batch on here. Hopefully Sappy doesn't eat too many. And I'm going to make the biggest stack that I can. If your family is watching at home, please share pictures of your pancakes on social media. Hit that Scout Zone hashtag, and we'll hopefully see them here. But we're going to make some pancakes and throw it back to you guys.
Awesome. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Sappy. Yes, we will check back in a little bit to see how many pancakes you have stacked. I myself have already started this morning. I've stacked 9 pancakes today. So that's my limit. But yeah, thank you so much. We'll check back soon.
Awesome. Well, we've got some good stacks going. If you guys think you can guess how many pancakes Sappy will stack, be sure to go ahead and put that in the comments below, and that'll enter you in the chance to win your very own Scout's own gift. So go ahead and pose guesses in those comments.
Yes. Well, Grace, as we move on, I just want to let you know that I have found further proof that pancakes are better than waffles.
Really?
Yes, we will get to it a little bit later, but I'm so excited because it is just a bombshell. It will explode the head off this debate of pancakes and waffles, and I will reign victorious.
Well,
But why don't you talk a little bit about Scout's own maple syrup?
Well, before we go ahead and solve this debate, right here, I have a bottle of our very own Scout's own maple syrup. All the sap for this syrup comes from one of my favorite places, the Beaumont Scout Reservation up in Rock Creek, Ohio. There we have our trees tapped, like Kevin said, more than 1,000 of them, and we take this sap and we harvest it and make the delicious maple syrup. Every spring we also have one of my favorite events, Sap Camp, where we bring Scouts, Cub Scouts, Scouts BSA members out to Beaumont, and we show them how we go ahead and tap trees. And we have Scouts that go ahead, they tap the trees, they see how syrup is made, and see the entire process as to how we make our syrup. In this syrup, once we get our syrup, it goes to the Bissell Maple Farm in Rock Creek, and that's where it turns into this beautiful gold. I bet you didn't know this, but when sap comes out of trees, it's actually like a clear, very viscous liquid. Kind of looks a lot like water, and it's not until we go ahead and use reverse osmosis to process it down that we get this beautiful syrupy color. Are we going to now go to a little bit of a message from our maple farm to go see how they actually go ahead and do this process?
Real maple syrup. So the other stuff that you buy, the cheaper, it's an imitation. So it's fake syrup, and it's cheaper. It's lower cost. It's lower quality. Something that is imitating something it's of lesser quality, imitating something of greater quality. The biggest thing is you're actually tasting a product that took it took 40 to 50 years for those trees to grow. Before we could even start tapping trees, they had to be 40 to 50 years old. So why it's better is it's 100% natural. It has one ingredient, maple syrup. So it is what they call a whole food. There's no additives, preservatives. It is just maple syrup. Do you know what maple syrup's good on?
Everything.
Everything but the floor. So it's good on everything but the floor. It's literally a product that it can be used on everything. Ice cream, ham. I mean, it's not just for breakfast. So although we're about to have a pancake breakfast here, we're going to cook up some sausage and pancakes, and we're going to have breakfast for lunch. So not only will I say maple is not just for breakfast, I will also say breakfast isn't just for breakfast. You can have breakfast at lunch and breakfast at dinner. I think people are ready for the real thing.
Awesome. I think that it is just so cool that we can harvest our very own maple syrup. And I think it's even cooler that it benefits such a great program. And I think it's really cool that we have that kind of treasure in our own local council. But what I did notice, Grace, is that we do sell Scout's own products, including maple syrup, pancake mix, and cornbread and muffin mix. But we don't sell Scout's own waffle mix. So I think that goes as a point for Team Pancake.
You know, I will give you that. That'll be your 1 point for Team Pancake. But whether or not we sell cornbread mix, or whether or not we sell pancake mix, whether or not we put syrup on our pancakes, our waffles, or anything else, I think we can both come together and agree that's not the most important part about our Scout's own product line. The best part about our Scout's own product line is that all of the proceeds from Scout's own go directly to Scouts to help fund their scouting adventures out at camp and whatever else they're doing in their units. So, you know, that's really the important part, whether or not it's pancakes or waffles.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Grace, you know, I was talking about all of the Scout's own stuff and how Scouts sell this to help them fund their scouting adventures. Right now is a difficult time for a lot of Scouts and families because most of us, at least in the state of Ohio, are sheltered in place. So we can't really go out and experience all of these activities that we do as normal. So is there a way that Scouts can actually still continue to sell this product even though we're sheltered in place?
Yes, there is. This is our big announcement that Mark Ryan was talking about earlier. We have now come up with an all-new part of our Scouts Own website called ilove.scoutsown.org. And this is a website where Scouts can sell syrup directly over the internet and have it shipped to their customers' houses while still getting that proceeds to help them fund their adventures. We actually have a little video of it with our director of camping, Phil Williams, and he's going to go ahead and show us this website and show us how Scouts Own works and how we can use it to fund the adventure this summer.
Welcome, Lake Erie County. We are excited today to talk about the newest opportunity for Scouts to fund their own adventures. The newest way to fund Scouts adventures is also through our Scouts Own products. Many of you are familiar with scoutsown.org, where units can order Scouts Own maple syrup, pancake mix, and cornbread mix to use at show and sells and door-to-door sales to sell the Scouts Own product to raise money for the troop, the pack, or for the Scout to raise money for going to summer camp or other scouting activities. Today, we are excited to announce the newest section of scoutsown.org. ilove.scoutsown.org will allow our Scouts to be able to create their own page and sell product to friends and family, both near and far. You'll see that in the address bar, I have my own personalized link up here. ilove.scoutsown.org/scout/Philip-troop-159. You'll notice that the capital P and the capital T are important because that'll make sure that the sale gets registered to my name. When your customer visits your unique link, they'll see a personalization of Help Philip Raise Funds for Scouting's Adventures. Your customers will have the opportunity to buy our 3 products, Scouts Own Maple Syrup, Scouts Own Pancake Mix, and Scouts Own Cornbread and Muffin Mix. Let me take you through the sale process so that your customer can understand exactly what to do. When you get to this page, you can choose to buy a product just by clicking Add to Cart at the bottom, which I'll do because I think I need some maple syrup. But I'm interested in learning more about the pancake mix. If you click the link here for any of these 3 products, you can learn more about the product, including information like nutritional information, and we get some pictures here of our products in action. Once I decide that I want it, I can also see the additional products down here, but once I decide I want it, I'm going to click Add to Cart. All right, now I've got my 2 products in my cart. I think I'm ready to go. So you're going to see that your total is here. This is your subtotal, and the default shipping option is Scout Delivery. We do offer USPS delivery, and we'll get to that in a second on the next screen. So I'm going to click Proceed to Checkout. At this point, I'm going to enter my address. And we're going to put the office address here because you'll see that as soon as I enter the zip code, we get some wheels moving over here. And we'll talk about that in just a second. We also require the phone number and the email address. And you see at this point, you can create an account. So if you want to buy multiple products in the future, you can create an account, which will save some of your information so you don't have to enter it again. This is the billing address. So if you need to add a separate shipping address, you can do that right here. Any other special notes, you can add them in this column here. Over on the right-hand side, you'll see that we now have the option to do priority mail. If you choose the shipping option, packages will be shipped within 4 business days. This will allow us some time at the office to get those packed up and shipped out. You'll notice that the price for shipping is kind of high, and that's because we have a pretty heavy product. I will note, however, that if you increase the number of items, the shipping does not increase proportionally. You get a better rate when you buy more products. You can also choose Scout Delivery, which will give you free delivery, and that's when the Scout will deliver it to your door. And then you put in your credit card information, and we use our same credit card processor that we use for event registrations, and that'll place your order, and the Scout will receive information about your order, and will either ship it from the council office or your Scout will be able to deliver it at that point. This is a pretty exciting option, a pretty exciting feature that we've got going on here. And we want to introduce it to you today. By using your unique link, that's all you have to do to start earning money using ilove.scoutzone.org. If you're interested in getting more information about how your sales are doing, we can go to the Scout Reseller Login link. So let's take a look at that now. I'm going to log in here with my saved username and password. Now this page will give you information about your link. So in this case, it has a link right here so everybody can see that. You got to make sure that they go to this direct link and use the capital letters, just like I said earlier. We can see statistics about people who have visited our site. So you'll see that I've got 6 visits to my link. You'll see the earnings and commission that you're set to receive. That'll come through once a product has been sold. There's some graphs here. And most of these graphs are not going to show much information since I don't have many sales yet. I'm not doing so great as a Scout seller. And then this referrals link, this is going to show who's bought from you. So it'll tell you how much they bought from you. And this is a good way to write thank you notes if that syrup is being directly delivered through shipping. So that's it. That's the new ilove.scoutzone.org. We're really excited about it. We hope you use it to sell Scout Zone products across the country. And we hope if you have any questions, you reach out to us so that we can help you get it set up. Great news though, any troop, any pack, any crew that is signed up to sell Scout Zone this year, you'll be receiving an email. Your syrup captain will be receiving an email shortly with all of your unique links already ready to go. In the future, you'll be able to sign up and create your own link if you haven't signed up to sell Scout Zone yet. But for those who are signed up for this year, you'll get your unique links today. Thank you for watching. We are excited to debut this new method for Scouts to sell Scout Zone maple syrup, Scout Zone pancake mix, Scout Zone muffin mix to fund their adventures.
Awesome. I think it's really cool that any registered scout from any council, not just Lake Erie, can sign up for the website and sell this product to earn their way to camp this summer. We have another very special guest this morning that we're going to talk to and ask a couple questions. He also happens to be a fellow Eagle Scout from Ohio, and our Secretary of State, Frank LaRose, is here to join us. Hello, Frank.
Hey, good morning, Alex. Good morning, Grace. Good morning, Lake Erie Council. Thank you so much for the chance to join your virtual pancake breakfast. This is an awesome idea, and no surprise that a bunch of scouts and scouters came up with something cool like this.
Well, thank you. So as we open up our conversation this morning, we have a very important question that we have to start off with all of our guests. Which do you prefer? Are you on Team Waffle or are you on Team Pancake this morning?
Well, you know, I think that Senator Brown tried to waffle by going into the oatmeal category, which is not one of the choices, although I'm making pancakes right now, and I've got chocolate chip pancakes going. I've got 3 little girls, a 4, a 6, and an 8-year-old, and they are really excited for Daddy to finish up the chocolate chip pancakes that I'm making. So I got to say that I'm going to be a vote for pancakes this morning. Here's something, sorry, Grace. Here's something that everybody can agree on, though, and that is that syrup should never be made out of corn, only from real maple trees. And so we are fans of real maple syrup in this household, and I'm going to be going online and ordering some Scout Zone syrup from Beaumont Reservation. I'm looking forward to that as soon as we wrap up today.
Thank you so much. That means a lot to us. The first question, other than our most important one, that I'd like to ask you is, could you just give us a brief history of your time in scouting, and also how that kind of translates and impacted your future today and what you're doing?
Yeah, so I grew up in the Great Trail Council in Summit County, and I was in what at that time was called the Old Portage District. My troop was Boy Scout Troop 380 from Montrose Zion United Methodist Church, and in fact, my troop, we sold popcorn, and I was the popcorn champion for a couple years, and so they called me the popcorn colonel in my troop. A little bit cheesy, but I think that selling maple syrup and the Scout Zone products is probably better than selling popcorn. So for me, I earned my Eagle Scout in 1997, and my troop did a lot of high adventure trips. We did a lot of backpacking type trips out west. We did Boundary Waters canoe area up in northern Minnesota, which was really, really cool, and I loved every bit of that. I'll tell you what, though, as much as for me, the scouting program was all about the outdoor experience and the adventures. The things that I didn't realize at the time, but came to appreciate later that I was learning in scouting was really about leadership. When you're a man or a woman and you're in charge of a bunch of other people your age and trying to get everybody moving in the same direction, and my troop was really a troop, and that's what I think is really key about the scouting program is learning that leadership experience. I took that with me to the military, and then on to my work as an elected official, where first I served in the state Senate for 8 years, and then for the last year and a half, I've been serving as Ohio's chief elections officer as the Secretary of State. And so, Alex, let me say, you're running a very good election there. And basically what you've got going on, and I can audit this election and tell you that so far the results are completely legitimate.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That means a lot.
An official election right there.
That's right.
Exactly.
Do you have any words of encouragement for our scouts and our families that are watching, especially during these hard times?
Well, you know what, exactly. You know, we're dealing with a lot right now in this coronavirus pandemic, but I think that the lessons that we learned from scouting help us to be prepared for things just like this. And the message of scouting is also one of community involvement and service to others. And what we're seeing during this pandemic is, even though we're forced to be apart physically, people are coming together in the sense of community and taking care of each other and looking out for one another. In fact, at the conversation, I'm going to have a pitch on something I'm going to ask you guys to do to help me, so that we can help Ohioans make sure that they get their vote counted and their voice heard in this primary election that's going to be concluding in just about 11 days. And so I think that the message of scouting, the lesson of scouting, is alive and well. And I think that during a pandemic, perhaps it's more important than ever to be prepared and to look out for one another, to do a good turn as we all learn how to do in scouting.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Well, that concludes the questions that we had for you today. Would you like to say anything else before we head out?
For everybody who's on the Eagle Trail, for everybody who's working on advancement, stick with it. Now, the parents may shudder when I say this. Don't be in too much of a hurry. Sometimes I see these folks that they get their Eagle rank when they're like 13 or 14 years old, and I wonder, what's the hurry? Enjoy the program. Make sure that you actually take the time to do all the great things that scouting involves, but do make sure that you're not me, because I turned in my Eagle paperwork the day before my 18th birthday and made everybody crazy. I had a great Eagle project though, and so and got a lot out of it. So that's one thing, is stick with the program, stick with scouting. You will never regret it. I tell you what, I hire a lot of people in my job, and when I see Eagle Scout on that resume, that moves to the top of the stack for me, and it's something that really means a lot to me. Also, whether it's Senator Brown, who was on earlier, or in the work that I used to do in the state Senate, we spend a lot of time making laws and rules and regulations and all of that. But I often thought that you could get rid of all of that if everybody just agreed to live by the Scout Oath and the Scout Law. I mean, if 11.5 million people just promised that they would live by trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent, we wouldn't need any other laws. But of course, that's not the way it works. And so that's why we need to have good elected officials and people that are willing to do the work of serving others in government. And so, Alex and Grace, let me end with this. We had a primary election scheduled for March 17th, but because of the pandemic, we weren't able to have in-person voting on March 17th because of an order from the health director to protect the health of Ohioans. She and the governor decided that it would not have been safe for too many people to be coming out of their homes and going to polling locations, also to protect the health of our great poll workers. And so we've had to extend it through April 28th to give everybody a chance to vote by mail. But for a lot of Ohioans, they've never done that before. So here's my little service project to the Scouts. If you all are willing, if you're active on social media, or even just have a good list of friends on email, anybody you know who's over 18 years old and a citizen of the state of Ohio, you need to remind them, if they haven't voted already, to go to voteohio.gov. That's my official Ohio Secretary of State website, voteohio.gov. If you don't have a computer, they can go to 877. They can call 877-SOS Ohio. That's 877-SOS, as in Secretary of State Ohio, and a member of our staff will answer the phone and get them their absentee ballot request. There's still time, but the clock is ticking, because to send in your vote by mail ballot, it has to be postmarked by Monday, April 27th. And so it's a reminder for everybody to get signed up for that. My dog Rosie just wandered into the kitchen. She smells the pancakes cooking too. And so please remind your friends to go to voteohio.gov or call 877-SOS Ohio. And we actually have a social media toolkit right there on the website, voteohio.gov, so you can download some graphics and GIFs and animations and some fun stuff to spread the word about voting. It's not about Republican or Democrat. It's not about what party you choose. It's just about the civic involvement and making sure that your voice is heard. And so thank you so much for helping to spread the word. And thank you, Lake Erie Council, for this great pancake breakfast this morning.
Thank you. And thank you so much for taking time to be with us this morning. We really appreciate all that you do for scouting, as well as the state of Ohio.
I got a great stack of, we've got these chocolate chip pancakes. My girls and I are going to dig into them.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you. We would also like to take this time to thank those that have donated to Keepers of the Flame this morning. Anthony, can you give us a shout out from the comments of those who have donated so far?
Absolutely, Grace. Good morning, everybody. We have a couple of big shout outs here. We'd like to do Ed from Grafton and Eve from Warren and Mark from Boardman, who are donating to our Keepers of the Flame program here in the Lake Erie Council. So those are just a couple of names we have so far. So keep on donating to the Keeper of the Flame program, and back to you guys.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Anthony. That means we still need quite a few more people to donate to Keepers of the Flame this morning if we want to see Mark Ryan get that quarantine haircut. So keep on doing that. And thank you to everybody that has already donated. Your generosity helps to impact the scouting movement here in Northeast Ohio.
Yes, absolutely. And as we mentioned before, the Keepers of the Flame is a friend of the scouting organization who contributes a minimum of $10 a month to help provide quality program for our youth and our families. Our average Keeper of the Flame donation is $25 a month, and these funds are absolutely critical in helping to provide the necessary resources required to provide a great scouting program to over 20,000 youth and parents in Northeast Ohio.
Like Mark Ryan said earlier, we currently have 125 or more Keepers of the Flame, closer to 200, but we're looking to continue to grow that number. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a moment to hear from some of our current Keepers of the Flame as to why this program is so impactful to them and the scouting program.
My name is Tristan Hills, and I'm happy to support Lake Erie Council through the Keepers of the Flame program. Scouting has always been a big part of my life, growing up doing Cub Scouts with Pancake 85 and Boy Scouts through Troop 194 in Rocky River, eventually getting my Eagle Scout rank and being a Vigil member of the Order of the Arrow. Now I'm a merit badge counselor with the West District, and I'm happy to work with our younger members and help them learn skills that they may not have ever learned about outside of the scouting program. I know that myself, I was introduced to quite a few different skills that I would have never learned about if it weren't for scouting. I'm a lifeguard and I'm an EMT, all because of these skills that I got interested in doing merit badges and other skills through the scouting program. I think that it's so important that everybody is able to take part in these programs and learn more about themselves and about the world around them. And I don't think that that should be restricted based on financial status or anything else like that, which is why I'm more than happy to support the council and support those scouts who may not be able to take part in this program or learn anything else about themselves and about the world were it not for the Keepers of the Flame program.
Hello, my name is Eric Schmidt. I'm the Service Area 6 Tools Team Leader, and I'm from Cambridge, Ohio. And I'm also a Keeper of the Flame. I'm a Keeper of the Flame because I know that it matters. It matters to our council, it matters to our units, and it matters to the families that we serve. I know that my gift is being used to engage the leaders of tomorrow. So please, why don't you join me in joining the council to help keep the flame of scouting burning for another century.
Hello, Scout families. My name is Laura Spelber, and I'm a Den Leader Pack 75 of Mentor and a Tools team member in the Service Area 7 of Lake Erie Council. Keepers of the Flame is important to you, to my family, and to you, our council families. We ask that your donation help us in our scouting community for all of our events, programs, and adventures. Just remember, scouting is not just a program, it's a life skill. Please show your dedication in supporting our scouting of the oath and law and providing us a kind and loyal dedication of donations to our support of Keepers of the Flame. In doing so, you're helping you, yours, and mine. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Lori Bock from Perry, Ohio. As a volunteer scouter, I wear several hats, like being a unit commissioner in Service Area 7, the division funding team lead, or helping out at Cub Adventures, just to name a few. But one of the most important roles that I play in scouting is being a Keeper of the Flame. As a keeper, I know that my monthly donations is helping to ensure that the Lake Erie Council will be able to continue to provide the best scouting programs in my local communities. As a mother of an Eagle Scout and a Cub Scout that just crossed over into the troop, I have seen firsthand what these programs can do. They encourage scouts to do their best, to make new friends and try new adventures, to discover that they can achieve more than they thought they could, and of course, some skills, all while living under the Scout Oath and Scout Law. These are positive influences that I fully support, and that's why I'm a keeper.
Scouting's a really big part of my life. I'm Paul Parrish. I'm with Troop 75 and 222 in Mentor. I'm an assistant scoutmaster for both my son and my daughter's troops. I've been involved with scouting now for over 30 years as a youth and an adult, and I just believe in the program. I'm excited to be a part of the Lake Erie Council and be able to share scouting with my son and daughter and other youth. I'm a keeper of the flame. I support Lake Erie Council and everything that they do in bringing us the scouting program. These times now are a little more difficult, not being able to interact with the scouts, but virtual meetings have been great to be able to see everybody and see that scouting continues on. And by supporting scouting through the Keepers of the Flame, I'm able to make sure that youth are able to get out and experience all that the program has to offer. I'm looking forward to next year, where I'll have the opportunity to be along the trails with both my son and my daughter and my wife as we go to Philmont. So the opportunities that are available to scouts through the Lake Erie Council and their local troops are endless. So I hope that you'll support scouting as I do and help bring the program to more youth throughout Northeast Ohio.
Good morning. We're Jeremy and Christine Young, and we are Keepers of the Flame. We chose to be keepers because we truly believe in the scouting program. It enriches the life of not only our son, but also of the leaders through the things that we have learned and the friendships that we built.
I'm proud to be a keeper.
I'm Casey with Pack 3041 in Jefferson, Ohio, and I'm a keeper of the flame because I've seen firsthand the positive impact that scouting can have on youth and their families. In scouting, we learn life skills, forge new friendships, go on adventures, and build character, all while having a lot of fun. All of these things combined help our youth of today become the moral, compassionate, caring, and understanding leaders of tomorrow. And I honestly can't think of a better reason than that.
If we put someone into the program, it's going to turn around and benefit the kids that we are serving.
What a fantastic moment here for Lake Erie Council. It's so incredibly moving to see the many people within our state, within our home, that believe so much in our programs. As we continue our fun this morning, please consider joining Keepers of the Flame. You can join by going to lecbsa.org/Keepers of the Flame. Now moving on, we go live to our very own Phil Kussner, who has a demonstration this morning about eating bacon.
Good morning, Phil.
I think you might be muted there, Phil. There we go.
There we go. Hey, everybody. Sorry about that. My name is Phil Kistner. This is my son, Robert. He's a future scout, right, buddy? All right. I'm an Eagle Scout from Troop 226 over in Strongsville, and I'm a keeper of the flame myself, support our council a great deal. And one of the things that goes really, really great with pancakes or waffles. What do you like better, waffles or pancakes, Robert? Waffles and pancakes, he can't decide. Is bacon and sausage. And one of the best ways to eat bacon and sausage is to dip them in maple syrup, right, buddy? Okay, I guess I'm just going to do it. All right, so I have got some maple syrup here, and I don't know what this stuff is. I have no idea where this maple syrup comes from. It says Ohio, but who knows? We know that these two products right here, made in Rock Creek at Beaumont Scout Reservation. So, gonna dip some bacon here into the wonderful traditional Scouts on maple syrup. Well, that's a really good flavor. But the special reserve, you never know, that might be better. So we're gonna check that out. You know what? I'm gonna have to spend the rest of the day eating bacon with maple syrup to find out which is the best. But I wanted to give a big shout out to all the youth in our council, especially in the Scouts BSA division, because that's where I work. So far, within the time frame of us sheltering in place, we have 2 young men who have earned the rank of Eagle Scout. We've had 60 Scouts advance in rank, and we've had 2 Eagles earn palms. What that means to me is that the dedicated volunteers have figured out a way to continue their youth down the path towards Eagle. And as an Eagle Scout, that means so much to me. So I thank you all. I thank all the other Keepers of the Flame for supporting this organization. And I hope everybody has a great day.
Thank you. Before you go, Phil, I do have a very, very important question to ask you. Are you on Team Pancakes or Team Waffles?
I am on Team Waffle myself because they, again, hold more Scouts on maple syrup.
All righty. Well, thank you so much for that. Take care.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Phil. We really appreciate, your contribution to the big debate here this morning. But also, what he said about advancement is fantastic. So
Absolutely.
congratulations to all our scouts that have been out there continuing to, live that scouting program, even though everything is changing. I look forward to seeing so many of our Scouts BSA troops from Phil's service area and all across the council out at camp at Beaumont this summer. After sheltering in place for however many weeks we're going to be stuck inside, there is no place that I would rather be other than summer camp. And we've got so much exciting stuff coming up this summer out at Beaumont. This year for our Tuesday night games, we are going to be having a mud Olympics because nothing is more Beaumont than mud itself. And so we're going to be having a lot of fun seeing who can get the muddiest and seeing what other activities we can do with that. And another use for our Scouts own maple syrup, we are going to be having our first ever maple soda box social. So if you were out at SAP camp at Beaumont this winter, you had some of our very own Scouts own maple syrup soda, and so we're going to be having an entire night dedicated to that, using our Scouts own syrup in a way that isn't even pancakes or waffles. We always get a bunch of great Scouts out at camp, but we're also looking for more people to join our camp staff team out at Beaumont to join us for the entire summer. And it looks like we could use a few more people. I think I know somebody that might be a great member of staff out at camp this summer. And I think Kevin knows this person personally. Maybe Kevin can come on and, we could check in on that pancake stack and we could see if Sappy would like to join our camp staff this summer.
Hey, Grace and Alex, thank you so much. So we are still here in the kitchen. We are at, I believe, 26 pancakes. We had to go to a second stack because my first stack was getting a little tiny bit wobbly. And we got to go to a second plate. I'm excited to eat these. Don't tell my wife I was just touching all these pancakes because I'm going to serve them to her a little bit later on. Now, Sappy, we would love to have you come out to camp. I know that I am a veteran camp staff member with 7 years on camp staff in the past, but I also know that you and your family do a lot for Beaumont Scout Reservation, and you're going to be out there anyway, so we can't wait to see you out this summer at Beaumont Scout Reservation. But another exciting competition, other than our mud competitions and our pancake stacking competitions and our attempt to shave Mark Ryan's head, a really cool competition for our Scouts this week was our Sappy coloring contest. So we put this out there on our social media to have kids color their own Sappy coloring page. We had a lot of great Sappy coloring posts that we'll put out on our social media, but we're going to announce our winner. We randomly selected one of those Scouts, and the winner of our Sappy coloring contest is a Scout named Kelly L. I don't have her Packer troop number. Hopefully Andy can kind of announce that from above, but Kelly is our Sappy winner. We'll be getting some prizes out to her, and I'm going to try to get her picture framed and hanging up in our Scout office for the next year to celebrate her big victory. A couple more things with Sappy here. Sappy promised that I could give away Sappy's biggest pancake recipe secret, and that is you take a little Scout's own syrup and you put it right into your pancake mix. It adds a nice maple flavor to your pancakes. You put that in there, a couple tablespoons. You give it a nice mix, and it's going to give a rich maple flavor to your pancakes before the syrup even goes on, which is a lot of fun as well. Sappy, are you enjoying all these pancakes? I think we actually had closer to 28, but somebody was sneaking a few off the stack earlier. So we're going to keep making pancakes here, guys, and I'm going to throw it back to Alex and Grace. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Kevin, and thank you, Sappy. That tower is looking amazing, and I can see how high they get it. We're going to go check in with them in a little bit, but before we do that, we're going to hear from the Feely family. They're going to tell us about their time in scouting and why Keepers of the Flame is so important to them.
Hi, I'm Liam.
And I'm Wesley.
And we love Scouts.
We want to thank the Lake Erie Council Keepers of the Flame for your donations.
Because of people like you, we have gone on adventures out of camp, gone fishing, hiked the trails,
shot BB guns, raced our pond with derby cars.
We've camped under the stars, learned how to make our own meals, and used a pocket knife.
And I even learned how to shoot a bow and arrow. We would like to ask those joining us today to become a Keeper of the Flame so that when I'm an old guy like my dad, my kids will be able to do some of the same awesome scouting activities and experiences as us. Thank you, Keepers of the Flame.
All right, boys. Now, I know we've had some great times out at camp, but what are some of your favorite experiences? Liam, what were some of your favorite experiences out of camp?
Mine's been able to meet new people, like Alec per se.
Okay. So some of the older scouts?
Yeah.
What about some of your experiences, Wesley?
Some of my favorites were shooting the bows, shooting the BB guns, and climbing the rock wall.
Climbing the rock wall. That's awesome. Now, for the most important question, pancakes or waffles?
I'm going to say waffles.
Well, one waffles.
Pancakes.
Pancakes. I'm a waffle. Wife, pancakes or waffles?
Pancakes.
She's pancakes. All right, Grace and Alex, you got our votes. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much, Feely family, for telling us about your favorite experience in scouting. I updated the scoreboard, so it looks like waffles are barely edging out 7-6 over pancakes, which is a sad day for me, but it's a great day for all of us. As you can see, supporting Keepers of the Flame is such a vital part to ensuring that scouts have a fun, safe, and rewarding experience. Again, we encourage you to become a Keeper of the Flame today by going to lecbsa.org/Keepers of the Flame. I know that I, myself, just signed up to become a Keeper of the Flame, so I know that we at least have now. Get an update probably later as to how many. And so we're that much closer to being able to shave Mark Ryan's entire head and his beard. So keep signing up, keep becoming a member, and keep supporting Scouts. At this time, I think we are going to flip it back over to Mary for a very, very special message. I made a pancake pun.
Flip like pancakes. It's funny.
Okay, pancake fun. That is a very funny pancake flip joke. All right, so I've been listening to everybody talk about summer camp and doing exciting things, and I can't wait to get back outside as well. And one of my favorite things to do at camp when I have some downtime is to go find all of the awesome things that are growing in the woods. So unfortunately, as I look out my window today, there was a lot of snow this morning. So I couldn't quite pick the salad bowl that I would have liked. I got a little one anyway. We found some really nice dandelion leaves and some henbit and some mint and a few little violets, which if you put sugar and maple on are really tasty. But once we have this nice little salad bowl, you kind of need some salad dressing for all of that. So I have us all set up and ready. So we're going to get some better light here. So we're going to take our 1/4 cup of our Scout's own maple syrup and pour that into our little bowl here. Delicious. And then we need to take a 1/4 cup of extra virgin olive oil. Got that in my little measuring cup here. Excellent. So then we're going to take two tablespoons of our apple cider vinegar. It doesn't matter what kind you get. I always make sure I have one that has the mother in it. It's kind of important. All you mothers out there know how important you are. 1 and 2. And because I decided I was going to be a good scout and be prepared, I have the rest of my ingredients all measured out. So I have half a teaspoon of salt. I have a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. I always grind a little bit extra in there because I really like black pepper. And typically I would use a fresh lemon and grate some lemon zest into my salad dressing. But I don't know if you've been going to the store lately, but I've been trying not to. So today, a scout is thirsty, and I decided to use my lemon juice. We'll put a little squirt of that in there, and maybe an extra one just because it's not the fresh lemon. So then we can just whisk this up, and we have a nice lemon maple vinaigrette for our salad.
That looks delicious, Mary, and I love that we can use our Scout's own products, even when it's not breakfast time. I think that's awesome.
Oh, yeah. Scout's own products are great for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
I love it.
Well, I don't know about you guys. I do have some breakfast stuff cooking. I used my Scout's own pancake mix to make some Scout's own pancake waffles because I need all of those nooks and crannies to put the extra syrup in.
So which team does that put you on, Mary? Pancake or waffle?
It puts me on Team Scout's own.
All right, so that's one vote for both, I believe. Thank you, Mary.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. So we are beginning to wind down our program a little bit. I know it's very sad because I've been having a great time this morning. Haven't you, Coker?
Absolutely. Wonderful.
You know, and so at the beginning of our program, we started with a challenge from our Scout executive. We needed to get 24 people to donate to Keepers of the Flame this morning to be able to shave Mark Ryan's head. And it looks like we are still a few dollars short, but there's still some time left to sign up for Keepers of the Flame. And Coker, do you know where we could find one more person that might consider becoming a keeper?
Well, let me see. I think maybe if we check back with Kevin and Sappy to see how their pancake's stacking, they might be able to update us on whether or not we can find someone else.
Yeah,
Kevin,
let's
Sappy?
go check it out.
You there, Kevin?
Sorry, guys. The kitchen's getting a little bit crazy. We have our final count for pancakes. We were able to get 24. My pancake stack had a bit of a tumble, but that is okay. It was a really great time. But I was talking to Sappy a lot, our household, our big supporters of Keepers of the Flame. I'm a Keeper of the Flame, and my wife makes a very generous donation every month in our dog's name. So our dog, Riley McPuppy, is also technically a Keeper of the Flame on record. But in my conversation, Sappy has graciously agreed to also be a keeper. So Sappy's got his laptop out. He's going to lecbsa.org. He's heading over to the menu tab going to giving, and he's joining Keepers of the Flame right now. And as a Keeper of the Flame, we'll be sending out this wonderful digital patch that Sappy can post on his social media. But we also recently received our shipment of the 2020 Keepers of the Flame patches as well. So if you're a Keeper of the Flame, in the coming weeks, we'll be getting these mailed out to you as well. Every keeper receives this patch, and then certain keepers who meet a threshold get this flame patch as well. They can wear on their uniform or to show off as well. So we've had a lot of fun over here in my kitchen. Grace, I will tell you that we also did fire up our waffle iron. So we're making one waffle for you as well. It's not quite done yet. It might be real close to finishing up. I think it is officially done. I'm just going to grab this right off the hot waffle iron, and we've got a wonderful waffle here as well.
We've got
Thank you guys so much. We had a lot of fun here. Sappy, Joe, fun too? Awesome. High five for Sappy as well. Alex, Grace, thank you for being awesome hosts today, and we'll see you on the other side.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kevin. And congratulations, Sappy, on stacking all of those pancakes and becoming a member of the Keepers of the Flame. Your contribution has brought us that much closer to shaving Mark Ryan's head, but more importantly, it'll help thousands of scouts and families participate in an extraordinary program here in Northeast Ohio. Before we move on to our Scout Executive, Mark Ryan, before we go back to him, I have a couple of totals to add. We've been following your comments on Facebook Live, and I would like to start off by saying there's an additional 17 waffles.
Woo! Yes!
A total of 17 waffles.
There we go.
Whoops, 18. And a total of 22 pancakes. So I'm going to count that up. We're going to go to 22. Additional, we have 3 more votes for oatmeal and 2 votes for French toast. So we love that you're all loving breakfast this morning and using our Scout Zone products. At this time, we are going to turn it over to our Scout Executive, Mark Ryan, to give some of his final remarks. So Mark, take it away.
Well, we've had a great program, and what I'm told that, Anthony, how many total new keepers did we bring in so far?
I believe, Mark, we are approaching our total numbers. As of right now, we have Jessica from Tiffin, Alex from Wellington, Patty from Bay Village, Stephen from North Olmsted. We have 2 $25 gift amounts, along with Thomas from Westlake, Kevin from Roaming Shores, Nick from North Olmsted. They're just coming in pretty quick, Mark.
Awesome. Well, I know we're going to get to that 24 and more. The good news for those out there who have been waiting for this, and the good news for me is this needs to happen anyway. So I'm going to officially kick off our quarantine cut challenge, and we're going to film this whole thing, and we'll post a video afterwards because we are starting to run over. And for those that are joining us after this for the ALDC, the Adult Leader Development Conference, we welcome those folks, and we wish you guys a great day of training and instruction on how to best conduct the scouting program in your units and how to become the best leaders. But I'm joined here this morning by 2 scouts here in the Lake Erie Council. This is Braden from Troop 159 and Amberly from Troop 743. You may also remember Amberly from such episodes at Facebook Lives as Boys Life Jokes a couple weeks back. We had a good time with that. And so as we start here, Braden's going to go ahead, turn it on. We're going to start the quarantine cut. And I'm going to make some challenges. Like I said, the full video and the after pictures got, but we don't have all day here, dude. Let's start from the front. I'm going to make some challenges to a couple people as well so that they can also post their quarantine cut videos. So I hope you're still listening. My first challenge goes out to our council commissioner, Don Grosek. I challenge you to a quarantine cut. Also challenge Chef Bill to a quarantine cut. I've seen Chef Bill's hair. He needs a quarantine cut for sure. Jake Brown, swinging deal, buddy. Quarantine cut coming your way, and of course, your partner in crime, Anthony, who I can watch live with. It's not so happy right now, but a quarantine cut challenge coming to you. And I've got a couple of other ones around the country as well. Go ahead and give it to your sister now. Let her get some of those. I got a quarantine cut challenge for my friend John Bickle from the Cradle Liberty Council. Several of our folks know him as well. He's looking a little scruffy. He probably needs a quarantine cut. The director of Outdoor Adventures there. And last but not least, I'm going to make sure I got all the folks on my list. Old friend who's probably not watching today, but hopefully he'll get the video that we'll post here shortly. Patrick Garrity, a good scouting friend, an Eagle Scout from Long Island who now lives down in the Atlanta area. He needs a quarantine cut 365 days a year, so this is just a public service that I'm doing for the people that live around him, and thank you later. But I challenge you all to the quarantine cut. Remember the rules. It's hashtag quarantine cut. In a scout uniform, have somebody cut your hair, and then take that money that you would have been spending at the local barbershop, the local hair salon, whatever it is, and donate it, hopefully to support the mission here at the Lake Erie Council. And anybody can do this. I know that, folks like Kevin Wassey, who I wouldn't dare challenge to the quarantine cut because he is, very specific about who might cut his hair. You still can donate that money you would have been spending at the local barbershop right now, and you can help support scouting. And for the ladies out there as well who are certainly saying there is absolutely no way, maybe you will consider making that gift to the Lake Erie Council to help us continue our mission. So my thanks first to Grace and to Alex for a fantastic job. Also many thanks to Senator Brown and Secretary LaRose. So wonderful to have such great folks as company and Eagle Scouts and supporters of the scouting program. Thanks to Mary and Kevin and Phil, to the Feely family. Thanks to all those who participated on the video today and were part of our our live cast. We look forward to doing lots more with you. So God bless all of you, and God bless the Boy Scouts of America. Let's have a great rest of the weekend. Back to you, Alex. Back to you, Grace.
Thank you so much, Mark.
Thank you, Mark. We look forward to seeing that full quarantine haircut video online very, very soon. As we wind down today, just a reminder that for a minimum of $10 a month, you can help give a bright future to our country. The average Keepers of the Flame contribution is $25. However, any monetary amount will help scouting. All Keepers of the Flame donations stay directly in Northeast Ohio. And so be sure to sign up for the Keepers of the Flame at lecbsa.org/Keepers of the Flame. Before we go today, I think we still have one more question that we need to answer once and for all. I don't think I've gotten my answer yet, Coker.
Well, for this great pancake debate that we started at the beginning of this program, I knew deep down in my heart that pancakes would win, but no matter what the total says, I think the real winner, the Scouts and Scouters that will be able to have an awesome program through our Scouts' own program and through our Keepers of the Flame program. Scouts' own products taste great. They enable an exceptional scouting experience for our Scouts and our families. We certainly hope that you enjoyed our program today. This concludes our Pancake Power Hour, or should I say, Waffle Wednesday on a Saturday, brought to you by our very own Keepers of the Flame. I'm Cub Scout Coker.
And I'm Grace Prorock. Have a great day, and thank you all so much for joining us this morning.
Yes, thank you. Scout on.